Okay. Maybe it's a little cringe for the figures that I picked, but mental health is definitely something that is going to affect us all, one way, shape, or form. And today, I was hoping to kick off a series, hopefully, that'll touch on mental health and collecting. I think you figured that out from the title, though.
Kaiju, turtles, Dragon Ball, and more. It's Steven Story Reviews.
Hey collectors, it's going to be Steven here, and welcome to part one of Unknown at this time on the sort of series, if you will. I don't know if I have a specific name, maybe we'll find out in the future, of mental health and collecting, because there definitely is something that intertwines here in the two areas, because if you just kind of look around, sometimes people talk about, hey bro, I'm depressed. Do I think about, oh man, this really makes me anxious when I think about this? So as somebody who does have the educational background to sort of interlink these, I think that this might be fun to explore. Now, really though, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this, I want to make note. Like I just got done saying, I do have the educational background. I have that full stop, no questions asked. However, when it comes to treatment, when it comes to giving professional advice, therapeutic advice, medical advice, this video and any one after that, I am going to make mention of this, however, this is not to be a supplement to, this is not to be a diagnostic video, any way, shape, or form. This is not to take place of any professional service. This is only some guy talking on the internet who's giving you maybe an idea of his opinion when we bring everything together. So, I'm going to reiterate this later. If you feel that you may need some sort of mental health service, whether or not you feel you need a diagnostic assessment or you're in a mental health crisis, please seek out the appropriate professional help related to that. And I am not, absolutely not speaking off of a high horse or soapbox, whatever the saying is, because that's going to intertwine into our first point. If you feel that you need some help when it comes to mental health, please, I encourage you, do it for Steven here. At least begin the process of that and seek out an official diagnosis and take mental health seriously. It's sort of a meme, if you will, to self-diagnose. And when it comes to that, you may not be the best person to do that. As a matter of fact, the saying goes is a therapist's worst client is going to be himself, because you do see things in a biased way and you may not notice things that a provider would, that an actual psychiatrist or a therapist would. And I will say is that if you do go and have an official assessment, an official diagnostic test, that may help you reach a point where you may have doors start to open for you. So for an example for yours truly, I was recently diagnosed with ADHD inattentive. Throughout my whole life, I struggled with a whole bunch of different things, including keeping myself organized and making sure that I was staying on task for certain things. And in other realms, I was completely able to blow stuff out of the water. I knew something wasn't always right, and that's what it was. Since I started getting into some form of treatment for ADHD, my life has basically turned around, and I feel so much better, not only with myself, but everything else in my life. So when it comes to mental health, definitely, if you feel that something is off, try talking to someone. Try beginning to at least open that window just a little bit, creak that door open. And I do know that it can be difficult to start there. Maybe you're younger and you do rely on adults, you do rely maybe on your parents in some way, shape, or form in order to get that process going. Well, you do have your primary care provider, hopefully, who may be able to assist in getting you a referral out to someone to somewhere. But if for some reason you can't get that, you do have your smartphone. I'm assuming that's where the majority of people may be watching this. There are mental health boards established in different counties, maybe not immediately in yours, but at least an adjacent one. And you can check to see where some providers might be. Also, do check in your area. There are multiple free or affordable clinics which may be able to point you in the right direction. So I just want to encourage you to do those things if you feel it may be warranted, okay? That being said, The rest of this video just talking about general feelings of mental health. No, again, we're not diagnosing. We're not going to say that you have depression, you have anxiety, you have. But where do we sort of see the things sort of intertwining and coming together when it comes to mental health, when it comes to taking care of your collection and taking care of yourself? So one of the big things that I do see is when it comes to, how do I feel about my collection? This is getting a little bit overwhelming. I have too much stuff. The second tip that I want to talk about, aside from taking your mental health seriously, is going to be making sure that you stay organized, okay? So staying organized is going to make you feel better regardless of your mental health status, right? It's going to help you clean your space up, and we're not talking about making a running list of your finances or an inventory of your collection. If you do make your space nice and clean, it's going to help you reduce anxiety because you have less clutter, and it's going to help with your depression as well, because you don't like to have a dirty space. It does also help you show a bit of control, and it helps you to interact with your collection on a very frequent basis, okay? Now, whenever I'm looking around online and I see a whole bunch of people talking about their collection, usually it's going to be positive, but every once in a while I'll see people talk about like, bro, what's the point of all this collection? What's the point of having everything? I don't see the reason why. I'm just going to go ahead and sell it all. There's so much going on here. It blew up and it's out of control. There's stuff everywhere. I don't understand. Okay, well, a lot of the times whenever people are presented with a really large task, because they may, in this case, have a large collection, just like the idea of, well, if you're depressed, don't be sad. Where the hell do you start with something like this? Because that's pretty difficult. Well, let's just say you have your storage room, your studio room, where you have your collections and your collectibles and your memorabilia, etc. set up, right? You have all your boxes in there. You have your Detolfs on display. Okay, so pick a corner of your room. Let's say that corner over there, that corner. Clean it out. All the boxes, everything that's there until you can see nothing but the carpet or the hardwood, okay? Congratulations, that is completely empty. Do it again, then do it again, then do it again. And then just rotate, because then at that point, you're physically moving stuff out of there, needing to put it somewhere else. Another thing that you can do is literally just go ahead and clear everything out of the room. Everything, 100% everything until there's nothing left in the room. And then start putting things back in ways that might make sense to you. But you don't have to organize it. You can just play a game of Tetris. Now, let's say there is something that you're working with a provider about that's neurological in nature. Look at research. Just look up research articles. All kidding aside, research articles are fantastic, and you can use Google Scholar for this. How do I stay organized? This is fantastic for those who struggle, including yours truly, ADHD. Best tip that I had to stay organized was actually found by my wife. People with ADHD do really, really well, not with stacks of boxes and all action figure boxes in those boxes. All of my stuff, it's out in the open. I've got stacks of SH Figuarts and SH Monster Arts, but I don't do storage. I just got stuff laying out. It works wonders for me. Maybe it'll do the same for you. Now, what about your displays? Because that's a lot too. How do you stay organized with that? Because you got a lot of stuff. How do you buy all this stuff and just keep it somewhere and it looks messy? Well, don't have everything out at once. Rotate your displays. Rotation of stock is the key to making money. Now, if you have Godzilla collectibles, then what you can do is you can set it up by era. So 1 month you could do all Showa. Then the following month, Heisei, the following month, Millennia. Then, for Dragon Ball, let's say you can do sagas every month. Spider-Man, you could do, let's just say, Symbiotes. Then you can do Green Goblins. Then you can do Sandman, okay? So every month, let's say on the 15th, you do a complete wipe out of your collection. You clean off all your shelves. And then you put new stuff out. So that could be a really fantastic way to make sure not only is your collection neat and organized, but you're actually picking it up and you're handling it around and you're keeping that connection with the stuff that you're buying instead of it just being something else that you're just throwing up on the shelf not actually throwing up, and you're never, ever touching it again. The third thing is going to have to be setting boundaries, not only with the people who are around you, because it's very important to set boundaries, right, kids? But also with the means you collect. Because if you just go ahead and you say, wham, everything under the sun I'm going to collect, you're going to go into a spiral very quick. And it's not only going to be mentally, but it's also going to be financially as well. And that's not going to be good. But remember, I'm not giving you any financial advice, okay? So with boundaries in your collection, define the means of your collection. Are you only going to be collecting A, B, C, or D? Are you only collecting X, Y, and Z? Make sure that you are very thorough in explaining to yourself what you are collecting. All right. So are you making a list of the stuff that you're collecting though? Like you're saying, oh, I'm going to go ahead and collect only the Marvel Legends of this. Okay, but really it's only good for making an inventory. All right. So if you're going to do anything, you're going to have to be very, very strict with anything that you do with setting your boundaries. And unfortunately, that can very much so be difficult. Now, what I would say is this is something that I do. So I'm going to tell you how I practice. Are you ordering online? You have a window. You can do it. So me, as you can see, I collect import items. So import items, they have specific times when they go up, maybe when they go down. So I always keep myself updated on when stuff goes up for order and when they close. So I don't buy anything that I have not already planned to buy from midnight until when I wake up. So after my AM routine, morning time, I wake up, I go to work, I take my morning dump. Is it still there? Yes. Do I still want it? If I do, if I got money, sometimes I've said no. Other times it's already sold out. And that's okay, because then it wasn't really meant to be. Except that it's gone, but we'll talk more about that later. Then we have imports and schedule times that are going up. Now, those are exceptions because you're planning for those ahead of time. Amount that you are going to have each month. How are you going to define that? You should maybe put a budget up each month. So maybe you have a $500 budget each month, okay? Once you hit $500, that's it for you. You're not spending another dime. Maybe you have a carryover rule. So maybe you only spend $250 this month. Then you carry that $250 over into the next month, so you have $750. Or maybe if you go over, you must, no questions asked, list an item for sale that will cover the expenses of how much you went over. That's something to keep in mind. Now, you do also have to prep for issues like surprise drops. So that also does count into how many figures or collectibles do you purchase per month. So do you only collect 5, 4, 3, 1 big one? Those are all different things that you'll have to set up for your own rules because, well, if you only spend like, let's say, $250, but that's only going to be for Marvel Legends, that's 10. So do you want to purchase 10 figures in a month? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave that back to you. Here's another tip in the realm of setting your boundaries, which I found to be very, very helpful because there is the Pokemon mentality of gotta catch 'em all. Let it go. Sounds pretty simple, but the idea is sort of the exposure therapy, if you will. Again, we're not going through therapy, but the concept kind of works here. It's more so acceptance and commitment, but exposure. So let's say, you got the Figuarts Tobey Maguire Spider-Man here, right? Well, they've got the Green Goblin Figuarts coming out, right? You gotta get Dafoe to go with Maguire, right? It's a lot of money. It's a big purchase. You gonna get it? Yeah, of course I gotta get. Pump those brakes, kid. Here's what you do. Don't get it. What? Sounds simple, but hear me out. So if you're really trying to rein it in for your collection and making sure that you're sane, what you should do is practice things like knowing when something is going to go up for order, intentionally watching it sell out so you do not order it, checking the prices to see where it's at, and then realizing now, even though you could have bought it, you cannot now because maybe it shoots up to $500 on the aftermarket. It's gone. You could have gotten it. You sort of wanted it because you caved into peer pressure and you're like, yeah, I think I should. Nope. Now it's gone. Letting it go. Because then the next time when you're thinking, do I really want that? It will get easier and it will get easier and it will get easier. And you will be exposed to the idea of you don't need everything that goes up for order. That is something that I found very helpful to me. The fourth tip is meta hobbies. What is that? So meta hobby basically means a hobby within the hobby. And that is going to be like an example with me reviewing. So when it comes to that, sure, I collect. I've got my collectibles here. I'm not going to pan left or right because you can see things I don't want you to see. But I collect. I shoot video. I take pictures, audio. I have to do research to make sure that I'm staying on top of the latest things. So if you're collecting, what you can also do is connect to other things. So in doing these YouTube reviews, I have learned a whole bunch of other stuff that I never thought that I would learn. So along the way, I've picked up other hobbies and I've helped myself become a little bit more effective, skillful, I guess you might say, in other territories. So what you can do otherwise is you can take up toy photography, you can take up figure history, you can collect other things that are reasonable, like the Jakks specific Dragon Ball figures from back in the day. You can collect the Super 7 TMNT figures and get the corresponding vintage Playmates to go along with them. So you can have one hobby turn into multiples and you can keep up with them all at the same time while you're having the one main hobby, and you can double your fun. So just keep that in mind. You can have a hobby within a hobby within a hobby. Yo, we heard you like hobbies, so we put a hobby in your hobby. So you can have fun, which that's going to kind of round this out. Be chill. They're toys. As a Bluefin employee put it, yes, Bluefin distribution, back in the day. How you doing, Gun? Anyway, so with hobbies, they're meant to help you relax. They're meant to help you have fun. They're meant to be good for your mind. And if you're too stressed and you're thinking too critically and it's causing you harm, why on God's green earth are you doing it? If you're too stressed, maybe you need a break. Box it all up for a little bit, then come back to it. If someone's being very negative with you, walk away. Disengage. You don't have to respond. Think the Cuban Missile Crisis, October 27th. You're probably thinking, what is this guy talking about? Bobby Kennedy told Jack, don't respond to the Russians' letter. Don't respond. Respond to the last one. Not this one, the previous one. Cuban Missile Crisis ended. Someone's sending you hate, someone's being aggressive. Just walk away. Don't block them, mute them. You're good to go. Why? Have fun. That's what this hobby is about. Doesn't matter what anyone tells you to do. Doesn't matter what anyone tells you not to do. When you get home from work, when you get home from your college lecture, whatever, pick up your Godzilla, play with him, have a good time. Throw Spider-Man in a street scene, have fun with him, have a good time. That's what this is about, and I hope that you learned a good amount. So, to sum everything up, make sure that if there are serious concerns for your mental health, that you're getting that looked at. I really do hope that you do so. When it comes to making sure that your place is organized, make sure that it is best for you. But organization looks different for everyone. Do keep that in mind. When it comes to making sure that you're setting up boundaries for your collection, don't overrun yourself and just think that you need to get everything anywhere all the time, because you have to set up rules for yourself and you can't get everything. Make sure that you have fun with this hobby and you can double up on your hobbies even within a hobby. And then likewise, this shouldn't stress you out. Don't let it deteriorate you. So this is the first entry in the series. I hope to do more, and I'm hoping to bring in more research with specific examples in the future. So let me know your comments down below. Yes, it was long, but that's the intention of these videos. Thank you again so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and give some feedback down below in the comments. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.